So, before we get started, I wanted to do a little bit of a shout out to Badwick. He did a lot for this. He was very amicable. Um, I had caught him saying a couple of things about it on Wall Smashers, so I figured I might as well hit him up as like the former owner, as far as you can own a Turd Island, um, to see what his thoughts were on the subject and like the definition and angle he was taking it towards. Um, Again, it's all in good fun, so I hope Flatley doesn't take it too personally. Now I know he's always up for the content, so I'm not that worried about it. But by the same notion, um, it's just two guys shooting some shit, having some fun, talking about like the things that we probably personally would do a little bit more differently. But um, as far as I'm concerned, Flatley can keep the Third Island. This is not me trying to become the king of Third Island. Um, there's roles and kinds of content for all kinds of people, and I'm not cut out for that kind of a presenter role in that way. So, without further ado, I hope all of you guys enjoyed this upload. I know I had a lot of fun. The audio is a bit lopsided because I'm trying some new things with both the recording and um, in video and audio. So I'm a little bit low and he's a little bit loud, so I had to find the middle ground there. So sorry for that, guys. But having said that, and on the off chance that you're not subscribed to him, even though you're subscribed to me, go subscribe to both Badwick and Flatley. And without further ado, enjoy. So, hi Badwick, thank you for entertaining me in this interview and like shedding some light and some opinion on the recent developments, both in like transitioning from Flatley to from you to Flatley in Third Island, but also like the trend that Third Island has been experiencing, as well as Flatley not really seeming to be able to fully define how he wants his Third Island to look like, basically.
Okay.
At least that's how it comes across to me. Um, you mentioned yourself, like before we got on camera, that you kind of wanted to elaborate a little bit about like the factors which made you switch
Yeah.
ownership.
Yeah, totally. Because I like on all my previous like if you watch my content, you know this won't be anything new for you if you've consumed my shit because I've talked about it in bits and pieces. I'm happy you're doing a video about this topic because at least at this point now I can just point to your video.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I used to, for anyone wondering, I used to host Turd Island. I did for about, I think it was like a year and a half. It was for a while, and it started to become kind of a fun like staple in the small commentary community because the inspirations behind Turd Island came from like Doc on the Radio and some of the older kind of this like I guess like the kill stream was kind of some of it as well. Just like the head-on Spurg battles. And at the time when I started Turd Island, there was like almost like an opening for it because commentary's dying down, Augie left, people were gone, like Doc stopped streaming and all this. And there's this kind of void, but there's this large collection of Spurgs that were just everywhere. You know what I mean at the time? And so when I started doing it, it actually didn't start off originally as Turd Island. It started off as Badwick Tonight, which was just a topic commentary TV, like I was gonna say TV show, but it was a topic commentary show which was hosted by myself originally, and then other people started to get included to it, like Lamp and some of the like CJ Brown, Ember Lilies started to just kind of gravitate and like I had people from esports, like that side of the internet, call into the show. Then I started to get these like outlier Spurgs call into the show. And then what had happened to Badwick Tonight is that it started to just naturally become this like panel show with just different characters all the time. And because I always streamed like once a week or twice a week if I was lucky, I decided to put it on Sundays. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this event every Sunday. Because no one does shit Sunday. You know what I mean? It was at like late Sunday night. There's no one streaming at that point. So it was a perfect opportunity. Here's this show. And it started off with, honestly, like 10 viewers. But the fights during, I wish I had some of those episodes because some of those like early episodes of Turtle Island were fucking ridiculous. But because I didn't know how to work OBS or fucking record shit, it was like there was a lot of stuff that was lost. And then, especially when the Salvo stuff started to happen, like we had those characters call in as well on the show. But it just, the thing with the first like little bit of Turd Island after it became like Badwick Tonight and Turd Island was that it wasn't called Turd Island. It was like no one really knew what it was. It was just a collection of people that would argue every week. And then that slowly started to like, you know, get some eyes on it, or people would clip parts of it and be like, look at this stream, or who's this like random guy hosting all these spurgs together. Because my whole thing was that I found when I started doing it, there was a lot of like, these people can't come into this my community, or these people can't come into my community, or this person's shady, or this person's shady. So at the time, I didn't have anything to fucking lose. I didn't care about like my fucking YouTube channel or Twitch or whatever. So I was like, I think it would be fun to have all these people come in to the show. So I allowed anyone in, and that was Turd Island. I said, you know, if you want to come in, you can come in. And so my original idea when I started Turd Island was I would come up with like 3 or 4 topics for the episode. And those were what I wanted to create a conversation around. And like back then I used to make, oh, I'll go talk about this tonight and anyone's welcome to join in. And that's how it started. And then people would join in. And like for the first little bit, like there was like weird people. Like there's like esports people that would call in because I was still doing kind of the esports stuff. And then I would have like commentary people like Luke and CJ Brown call in. And then it just created a nightmare environment.
You were, because you were covering esports. You've been part of an esports team, if I remember.
Yeah, several.
Oh, several even.
Yeah.
So you already like had a reach that like transcended the community itself, right? You weren't like fishing in just the commentary community pond.
No,
Like
I'll be honest, I have no idea how I became into commentary. I'll be fucking brutally honest. Asmo, you've seen my channel from the beginning.
Yeah.
You like when you told me, you're like, I remember your first post. I was making videos with fucking potatoes and like Biggie Smalls. Like that is where my content started from. And like dressing up as a cat, man. Like
the bus stop updates. I live.
yeah, the bus stop updates, the vlogs,
Yeah.
the daily vlogs, that was a thing. Like I didn't start off with the intention to be commentary. It just happened. And also I was dumb and I didn't know how to fucking do like high-tech fucking live streams or game. Like I suck at fucking video games, so no one's gonna watch me play video games. So I just ran my mouth, honestly. I watched commentary content like Keemstar, Leafy, stuff like that, but I had no idea what the small commentary community was back then. Until like realistically Turd Island started. And then I had like, because I had this thing on Twitter for the longest time. If someone followed me, I would just follow them back. And it wasn't like a case of like, I'm going to follow you to follow me to grow bigger. It was just like, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. So I just followed this person, saw the shit they were doing. And that's
Seems legit. Seems no problem.
right, but that's how I started to meet people. Like I was so shameless for a while. Like I still am. But like I would reach out to anybody. If they had open DMs, I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, want to come on to a show?
Is that shameless or is that just bold? Like just like how do you?
Oh, it's shameless. I was like a whore.
Well,
But
yeah, I do remember like moments where you very, I wouldn't say like very expressively, but close to beg people to call in and to be part of the show and do a show in that regard and in that context.
oh yeah, absolutely. And you have to. For a show like Turd Island, and like we'll get like I guess this will trend like get into it. As the show developed, I realized you needed something spicy or controversial. And to be honest, like I was always in the butt end of drama. When Turd Island was doing its best, I was always wrapped in drama. It wasn't like a situation where it's like, haha, I'm coming out of this scot free. No, you're caught in the fucking drama when you're doing this shit.
You're
It just
covered in the
depends
mud.
on which. Yeah, and it just depends on what side of the fucking drama you want to be on or how deep in the mud do you want to go. Because the episodes that I did on Turd Island where I got to like walk away at the end of there and be like, this has nothing to do with me anymore. Those are the best. Those were the best. It was easy. It was successful. But majority of the time I was caught up in fucking drama. So as like, I guess like the Badwick Tonight, like panel drama series, like continued, Turd Island, Kaylee suggested it to me, and I guess for the lore wise, Xylee always called it Turd Island, and then Kaylee called it Turd Island. So like the credit goes to both of them because like there was no like who said it before who. I found the name stuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just a fucking island of shit.
You heard it once from one of the two, and then
Yeah,
the other
and
one
like
repeated it, and that way it kind of I get you. And it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter who said it first.
And like by the time like I said, like when Turd Island had a name to it, it was already on its like fucking second, third season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it became established. Is the whole fact that people like Xylee were noticing it, and like now recording people were noticing it, and shit like that. Like the bigger of the small commentary people were starting to catch wind.
But it was just like you did some good branding on that too, in that regard. Like you found the moment where you had like the formula down, at least at that point, and that's when you made like that transfer to actually branding it and naming it its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot, and like I said, like by the point that happened, there was a whole new cast of characters, and like that was one thing I always tried with Turd Island, was that there was a cast. You know what I mean? Whether it like, I always wanted one or two people on the show that like could be recognized. But with that said, though, I didn't also like I tried to avoid arguably the best I could to have it be a hug box, which is eventually why I ended it when I ended it. But like you need your villains. You know what I mean? You need your villains, you need your eccentric characters, and sometimes if you don't have that, you have to be it. Like one of my most popular episodes, but most infamous episode was the women one, the women, like the feminism episode, because like because Kaylee, like I lived with Kaylee, we're fucking together for 10 years, but she is a villain on the show. Whenever she comes on, it is like commentary people can't stand her, but the content that comes from is great. They're some of the most watched episodes where you had fucking Nicholas Diorio fucking watching it like on one of them, like and like the thing about it though is that like that's all you want. Like when you're streaming, like you want people to watch it regardless. Like I think people get too caught up if it's like positive or negative reception when you just want the name of the show to get out there. You know what I mean? Because like a Turd Island was never meant to be like me getting a W on like a fucking debate or a topic. It was meant to just have a bunch of people come into a call and yell at each other and scream at each other, and then the formula was easy because you could piggyback off of the drama that happens during the week. And part of it is you have to be a shit disturber. You have to stir the pot. If you notice, like, oh, there's this drama that happened on Tuesday. Oh, it's dying down Thursday. Fuck it. You're going to reignite that shit. You got to reach out to that person number A and person number B, and be like, hey, let's end this now, or let's try to come up with a truce for the episode. But you're not going to come up with a truce. You're going to throw these people onto a panel, and they're going to ask a bunch of fucking questions to rile both sides up, and then you sit back because Peepaw nailed it the best that one time when he was like, look at Badwick. He's just sitting there like rubbing his hands. Absolutely. That is the formula. The formula of Turd Island is that as the host, you need to ignite the fire and then take a fucking step backwards. Because like, no, you do. Because the content comes from the panel.
Yeah.
You as the host, you cannot like, we'll get into it, but
I think
you know what I mean?
I think I know exactly what point you're
and that was always the formula I had.
Yeah.
I would stir the pot, come up with the initial questions, and then let people fucking kill each other. That was Turd Island. And like the times I had to step in, I would step in. You know what I mean? And that was always the formula. And like it was an easy formula to follow, and it was pretty basic, in my opinion, because like like you could piggyback off the drama going on of the week, and then create a panel or debate or whatever you want to call it, and then if there wasn't any, you have to create it. And that is the creative part. Like, let's talk about feminism, or the women of commentary, or let's talk about America's politics. Shit that will rile people up. And you can't just pick like we have nothing to talk about, so let's talk about Mr. Beast. Yeah. No one gives a fuck. You're not going to have an argument because I'm Mr. Beast. You know what I mean?
People are not too personally, emotionally invested in it.
Exactly. And that, like, if you go through like the best of the Turd Island episodes, they were things people were involved in. People that like they would either be dramas people were heavily emotional about, or fucking picking fucking shit to stir people up, like pulling Salvo on when he threw his fucking dick out. Like, you know what I mean? Like shit like that, or like.
Sadly, I know what you mean. Yeah, go on.
But like, as bad as it sounds, like. Yeah, it started to walk this fine line where it was the more angry and emotional people got, the better the content was. But then like I don't care about it at the end of the day. And I guess like this will segue into like why I eventually stopped doing it, is that you gotta milk it and all this, and then sorry, I'm just like collecting my thoughts on the spot. When I was going in it and it was starting to get like good, and then because there was a golden era. There was a golden era of Turd Island when I hosted it. And then there was an era where I personally felt like it was going down. And like the more times I had to be like sporadic or like fucking crazy was when there wasn't really anything going on. Like when I'd fucking paint my face fucking green, or like hot tub streams and shit like that. It's because drama was on the down low. And you know what I mean? I was the topic of that night for other people to come on and rip on me.
Yeah.
And that was the point of it, because I was no better than anyone else that called in that panel. And that was like, I never thought of myself better than anyone that called in on that panel. There's like a reason why I've dressed up and shit like that, because that was the content. But I never enjoyed someone actually leaving an episode and like being actually really like IRL upset about it. And that was something that started to rub me the wrong way, that as Turd Island continued, I realized the cast stopped becoming as diverse. It started to become the same people calling in, and then the content itself started to become a dog pile. And that was never the original idea of Turd Island. It wasn't meant to be like, let's get 6 guys together that all agree on the same thing and rip on one person. And like the exact moments that fucking killed it for me was the Darcy drama and the Doug stuff, where I was just like, this is lame.
Yeah, you mean when Doug had his
like his nervous breakdown or whatever fucking happened with him. And I'm not siding with him. That's not what this is. Because I hosted the stream. I'm as guilty as everyone else on that panel. But I remember like thinking afterwards, I was like, normally I'd walk away and be like, oh, that was a fun night. Woo! I started to realize, I'm like, we're fucking talking about like a transvestite fucking person. Oh, I guess you can't say transvestite anymore. When I was talking about a trans individual, fuck, I'm sorry, Asmo. I don't know if you want to bleep that out or not, but
I'm a small channel. I'm just
okay. Like, I talked about it. I hosted the Darcy stuff, but that was literally like people financially fucking abusing each other, a falling out of a fucking marriage that spilled out on Twitter, and like that's what I decided to stream about for like 2 fucking weeks. And like I remember sitting there and like it wasn't like I left that stream being like, oh, that was awesome. I was just like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like what is fucking going on?
And to be fair, like the whole Darcy drama just reached the level of those drama kind of series that you see on the
It was TLC.
Yeah, basically.
But no one on the internet should be doing a TLC fucking thing.
No.
You know what I mean? It never ends well. Like that, like people fucking screaming and like claiming they're doing fucking suicide and shit. Like that's not why I'm here. I'm here for people to scream at each other and be like, you're a fucking loser. No, you're a fucking loser. You're gay. You're gay. That's why I'm here. I'm like here for that type of shit. Not fucking like, oh my god, this person's gonna kill themselves because they were on a fucking turd island. You know what I mean? Like that
No, no.
shit is like the stuff that like I'm just like, wow, this is starting to get really fucking lame. And then like the Doug stuff happened. And like I like Doug. I think Doug's a fun guy.
Mhm.
I don't agree with that situation that happened. But I also think like you had a bunch of people go at him. And I was just like, he can't even fucking properly defend himself. Like, even if you're wrong, like, there's been many times where I've been fucking wrong. I can still snap back. You know what I mean? I can make it believable. Like, if you were someone coming into a conversation, basically how I portray myself on stream, I could bullshit my way and make you seem like at least I have a head on my shoulders and I'm like correct about it. It was just brutal with how he was like trying to defend himself. Like, he couldn't even like fucking like properly formulate like an argument against like 7 fucking people that were going against him, and it was just a slaughter. It really was. And like I didn't find it fun, you know what I mean? And like hosting it, I was just like, this is lame. Like, and then those were the 2 situations where I just kind of took a step back and I'm like, I think I'm good with this now. I think I'm done with Turd Island.
I've had my fill, basically.
Right? And like I went out, like, and that's the one thing I am happy about is that I did it. It went through like kind of its golden age, and then at least when I left, it wasn't dead. You know what I mean? I could, because like when I left, it was not at the peak of what it was.
No.
It wasn't hitting like the 100 viewers or 120 viewers. I think the most I ever had was like 170 viewers, but like it was not hitting those. It was hitting like anywhere from 20 to 60 viewers by the end of it, which is good. I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's still healthy for a live stream, but
yeah,
I
but
get
like,
what you're saying. Yeah,
it was always about being fun or having fun, or like, and I always use them as an excuse to drink. I don't drink like whenever I'm like out doing stuff, but I'll fucking drink on Turd Island and get fucking wasted. I have no problem vomiting in a bucket on stream.
Why do you think I have a cocktail format for that?
Right?
I totally feel you on that one. Yeah, I get you.
So when I was like thinking about like ending it, I felt bad because people generally looked forward to it, and so I didn't think I should just
Myself
quit the
included,
show.
by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think the show should end. I think it needed a new host. And so I was kind of like spitballing around, and I was like thinking about people and like who would be the best, who could be consistent with it. Because that was my thing. I wanted it to remain on Sundays. I wanted it to be consistent still. And the first person, honestly, that came to mind was Flatley. And so I reached out to Flatley. I'm like, hey. And so like for the last few streams, I was like dabbling with this idea of like, I think like I let Flatley host it one night or one stream before giving it to him, or like we did one together and all that. And I honestly think Flatley was the best choice for it. I do. And for anyone, like, I know there are people that aren't happy with the Turd Island, or they say, I still think Flatley is the best person to do it. I still do.
I still think in terms of his overall personality, I think he fits that show format like very well. So I agree with you there. It's just like he seems to sometimes.
I'm sure we'll get into it. So, so with all this, when I handed over to Flatley, I've always viewed it as like a late night show. And that's always how I viewed it. I didn't view it as like the show's changing. The show should be the same. It's just here's a different personality now hosting it. You know what I mean? It'd be like if Jimmy Fallon left his late night show. It's still the late night show, but here's a different host. You know what I mean?
And with that, a different twist too.
And a different, yes, and like that's the whole purpose. I knew the moment I get, because I bought one of Flatley's Turd Island shirts because I still love the show. Still hold that show personally, like it still means something to me. But yeah, that's how I viewed it. I was handed on, and I was fine with Flatley doing his own thing. You know what I mean? And happy he took it, happy he's still doing it. And now here we are.
Yeah. Because like yeah, sorry.
So how do you want to do the next segment? What do you want to know from me, or do you want to give your thoughts?
Basically, so it's been like 2 weeks now, I think, since the last Turd Island. I think he.
Yeah, I think so. Because I saw his tweet he made about like
So
He made a tweet a few weeks ago saying how that was like a depressing episode or something,
yeah,
and then he was like not gonna do it weekly.
I think you even like shortly discussed it. If I think it was it on a Wall Smashers or a live show, I don't know. But you were talking about. I remember you saying that he needs to dig into certain subjects more, or
Oh yeah,
yeah, um, and like so on the whole that in itself, like the fact that it's like 2 weeks, as well as the tweet itself was like for me reason enough to think, well, if you want to know feedback and want to have like the opinion about what I think you might have could do better going forward, I should put it, because again, like you, I'm not necessarily here to just make fun of him. I'm just also I just kind of want to give him like directions, if that makes sense. At least
no, it's criticism. I like and
it is
and
criticism.
I think like that's the best way
Hmm.
to move forward with something. I don't want to say fix or anything like
No,
that because, but like you know what I mean. Like it's to hear other people's opinions of it is the best way you can take and self evaluate yourself or your show. Because I don't find it like fun when people are like, "Oh, I prefer you over Flatley," or "Oh, Flatley's Turd Island sucks over what you." That's like I don't get off on that. I don't give a shit. You know,
that
I
would be uncomfortable if you would say
yeah,
that to me. Yeah,
because
I
I think
see.
Flatley is the best choice for it.
Hmm.
I still do. I will always hold that down. Uh, regarding Turd Island, and like I guess I can start with my
No,
criticisms.
you go ahead. Like
Okay,
you're free to.
and,
It's
and
on
like
the floor.
I've spoken to Flatley about
Yeah.
this in like DMs a few times and all that, but I actually haven't been active for it. I really like it was just starting to like IRL was way busier
Hmm.
for me now, and you know I don't make really a lot of those streams, but from the ones I've watched and from the criticism I've heard of other people and all that, here are my biggest problems. I think he needs a new cast of people. I do
Yeah.
because, and I've asked this, and I've spoken to a few other people. What is different from an AWT stream and a Turd Island stream? What is the main difference?
It's
You know what I mean? Because if you have the same 5 people that call into that stream versus an AW stream, what is the difference? You need to mix up the cast. I'm not saying not have those people on, but you need to mix up those cast members. Because I think Joe works really well for Turd Island
I think
because he's not always on the same side.
yeah. And
You know?
I'm gonna break into it because that is actually like uh, the top, the first part of like my eventual cocktail upload. Because I'm gonna add like a little bit of this into it, like the relevant feedback that we
Mhm.
like snipping it out, and then afterwards, the day after, I'm just planning on uploading the whole thing as like
Okay.
an extra. So they're gonna get to see everything basically. So don't worry
Yeah.
about that. But my point with exactly what you said, like what is the difference between AWT, Third
And
Island,
Turd Island.
but
Yeah.
also even to some extent his own personal show that he does every now and then,
Mhm.
and um, he seems to, and I'll take a little point over that as well. Like you mentioned, you need to catch the live streams because he has this habit of like privating them to members only afterwards, and I don't know if that's a business model choice or if
Oh,
it's
I don't know why he does that. I'll be
I,
honest. I
I,
don't have any critiques on that. I don't give a shit about that.
well, but by the same notion, right? Like, even if I couldn't catch your Third Island live,
Mhm.
I could because you started at like 4 o'clock in the morning for me. I could still like I could like 9 times out of 10 I could watch it like the day after, and not
Yeah.
watch it. And in that way, I try and make sure that I can then make the next one live because it sounds really fun. The atmosphere is really good, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I feel like he has like he's missing out on that part. And I think part of it is he can't seem to get through a show where he or his cast at some word says the N word with a R in there, or something happens like with Discord privileges and people muting other people from the
Yeah.
community, and there's just a whole lot more
Yeah. Okay. We can get on that. We can get on that. So I went through a thing like that where I had a few mods in my server, and they 100% took advantage of it. I think for Turd Island, the people that should have mods, because it caught like Discord drama is also a natural thing of Turd Island. Like that is part of the content.
Yeah.
But I know for a live show, it pisses people off. You know what I mean? Like the mute and the kicking and all that stuff. And people like fucking like when it happened on a few of mine, people were like, "This is gay" or "This is lame." Like, why are you doing that? There needs to be like a policing with Turd Island without there being such like it needs to be there but not transparent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you
It's like an organized chaos almost with it, where like I personally think when Flatley does a Turd Island, him and like a trusted mod should be the only ones that have power on that panel.
Yeah.
You know, he should be the one to mute people and have like a mod there in case of if someone doxes and all that. Because I'll be honest, I'll be 100% honest. Having Ember as a mod was a terrible fucking decision. And like that's my own criticism. Like, why the fuck did I do that? But there is also like going into that, like the cast of characters you have on there. Like there was a reason why I didn't have Slug on all the time. And like I've been transparent. I don't hate Slug by any means. I really don't. I know people are like he's a terrible person, whatever. I don't hate Slug. I never have.
He's not a terrible person. I just prefer not to deal with him. Basically.
Yeah, but like part of the reasons why I didn't pull him in on Turd Island all the time was because he would derail it, or it would be boring, or it would like just be a self-insert Slug stuff.
If you give him enough room, he'll take the whole room.
Yeah, and I think you need to trim that fat.
Yeah.
I do. And like this is gonna go to my criticism of his cast of characters. Sometimes you can't have those people because you won't get a good show. Flat out, like sometimes you need to not have the familiar people on there unless like you want to keep like one person or two on a show to create the content, because like you were saying it's the same thing, you know, and that's what will cause people to stop watching, is if it's the same content all the time. Because I know he does like try to he tries to have a topic for the night or whatever and all that, but like you have to shit stir it. You have to do it. You have to commit to it. And like this is all, and I've told Flatley this in DMs where I'm like, you need to be the shit stir, and then you need to just watch it happen. You're a host in the show to basically guide the program, not to self-insert. And I noticed that's a lot of people's criticism with the Turd Island that Flatley's watch, is that it becomes the Flatley show, not a Turd Island.
Flatly talking. Yeah, basically.
And that's not like a shit talk to him or anything, but that is just like a criticism. I've watched a few of them where it's mostly Flatley talking versus the panel of people. Like, if you have people not talking on a panel, why are they there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
like, in that situation, if you have a bunch of people that want to be on there, no one should be safe. No one should be safe on a Turd Island panel. And like, if you're on there, shit talk that fucking person. Be like, why the fuck are you here, you fucking loser? Get the fuck out, you know?
Yeah.
And like Flatley doesn't suffer from the thing, like, and I think he does a better job than me at this, where he's worried about public perception. I don't think Flatley gives a fuck on what people think of him. Where I like, and I'll be honest, like here's the I was more worried about being part of like, you know, the cliques and stuff with it. I think I struggled with that more than he did. And like with that said, but like I think he needs to be more aggressive with like the people he has on his panels and the shit stirring, because he's great at shit stirring. Like, I'll be honest, he's 100%. He's great at doing it when he does it.
Yeah.
Because like people aren't watching like Turd Island to watch people play video games. You know what I mean? People aren't like, it's a very basic concept for a show that doesn't need to change, because when it does well, it does well.
But you mentioned like Joe being like a good co-host.
Yeah.
I think I remember you had like one
or villain.
Right? Yeah, or villain. But that's right. It needs to be somebody that you can agree with, but at the same time have like a shit argument over basically nothing with. Like you have to be
exactly.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like 100%. I know for a fact Flatley can yell at Joe. And Joe's not going to like leave and be like, fuck that guy, you know?
Yeah.
But that's what you want, because if you don't have like a set cast, or if you don't have like a MVP of the stream coming in, you need to create the content. And I'm not saying force content or fake content or whatever, because fuck, that's gay. But I'm just saying, like, have a topic, talk about this, or talk, because they had a political stream that they took down that I thought was one of their better Tur Islands, where they were all fucking arguing about politics,
Yeah.
where Joe was like on the opposite side of majority of people. I'm like, that is a Turd Island. That is awesome. That is great for content where you don't fucking all agree. That is what you want. Like, me and Kaylee have freaked out at each other on a Turd Island, and people love it. I mean, she doesn't care about being hated on the internet. She doesn't give a fuck. But like, for content wise, everyone watches it. You know what I mean? She's okay being a villain. And I've had other people be villains on the show. The whole thing is like, if it is, like you said, if it's the same repetitive group of people, same like, oh, I agree, or you're gay, like, you know, it needs to be different. It needs to, you need to spice it up.
With the same group of people doing the same kind of content, you'll just end up talking in the same kind of dynamics and
Right?
Yeah. And
Right, and they have Burn the World, who that guy doesn't get, like, I'm on a podcast with that guy, and he frequently calls in to Turd Island, and he sticks to his views. He doesn't give a shit on if he's in a popular opinion or not.
no.
I'm like, why don't you use a guy like that? You have Joe and this guy that disagree. You had like, they had like their Sliggins drama. Fucking milk that.
Yeah.
You know, like all it takes for you to have a good episode is have like, and like I'm only saying this because this is the most recent thing, is be like, hey Sliggins, what do you think about Burns' latest video? And if he's like, oh, I don't like it, or I think it's lame, or blah blah blah, you know, Burns is gonna snap back and be like, you're a fucking loser. Like, you know what I mean? It's the perfect setting to fucking shit stir.
But
And
it's also
Flatley's good at it. I was on the sin bin with that guy, and that guy is shit stirring on the sin bin.
yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
there needs to be more shit stirring, and there needs to be more like petty arguments.
And because there's like, because you mentioned like the whole Sliggins thing, right? Like, because it's a clique, I think Flatley is like less. I don't think he wants to prolong drama as soon as it involves somebody from AWT, unless it's a specific, very much somebody that's actively then distancing themselves from the group. So if I look back, I think Dan 240p never was an official member from.
No, I don't think he was.
But he hang around that crowd often enough. I think the same goes for Given Ant. I think Ant is also, by the way, because I saw one stream that he did with both Joe and Ant as like co-hosts or people that were actually talking, and Ant has a very good knack of keeping everything on track and somewhat structured and on topic, and even like they had a running gag between Joe and Flatley, like on Ant, that went on a little bit too long, but on the whole that whole dynamic and chemistry wasn't necessarily bad. It just put.
Well, I had assistant Sailor and Lamp for that. Lamp was always I know all the facts about something, but like wasn't necessarily like the most entertaining person. And then I had Sailor, who was kind of like had no issues saying like F slurs of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like calling someone a loser or whatever. And then you were the middle ground, but you still had those. But it was also the three of us didn't always agree.
No.
Like when we did the Plague Moth stuff, I think like all three of us had different opinions of it and like disagreed and agreed on stuff. And like that, it's a good thing. Like if Flatley has a hard time keeping a topic on the table, then use someone that you know
Who does?
that can do that for your advantage. And if you know you have someone like Joe who is going to spit fire or say whatever, use that to your advantage. You are using the personalities in the community for your own benefit, and you have to know how to use them is the problem.
Yeah, I think Burn can do like at least a half decent villain every now and then in that regard. But
Well, Burn the World doesn't give a fuck on whatever. Like you
No.
could purposely pick a topic and then
just
use that. Like you could pick something that you know he strongly either disagrees with or agrees with, and use that as a topic and to rile that guy up.
and he'll show up. Yeah, he'll definitely
You know?
show up. Yeah, he doesn't run. Like,
But I think you're right. Where like I think Flatley doesn't want to piss off the dynamic of AWT, but it does seem like what is the difference of a Turd Island AWT stream or a regular Flatly stream? And you're not the only one who said it. Like I sometimes like I think it, and then there are other people that think it as well. You know, and then you see like posts like, "Oh, this is depressing" and all that. Like, I know he had some guy rant on about his fucking life, but like this is where I like you brought up the comment where I'm like, "There's always drama to pick. You can always pick. You can always stir fucking people up." You can always shit talk people. It doesn't matter how fucking schizo or crazy they are. Stir them up. Like,
and I don't even like necessarily agree with the major takes of the people on that specific podcast. He could have made that person like that person genuinely was somewhat unhinged and insane, but there was a spin there that you could have done that would have made it entertaining for the people that watched. But
and I know, like,
yeah, go
like, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Well, like, I know, like, I think it was on Wall Smashers when we talked about it, and Burns was like disagreeing with it. I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like, Flatley is great at fucking stirring people up. That's why I thought he should run the show. You absolutely can. You just have to do it. And like, the problem with it though is like you need a different cast. Like that was my biggest issue with Tony. Is that like having Tony on for an episode is fine because he's a crazy fucking whack job. But using him constantly all the time doesn't go a long way. Like there's a point where I had to kick Ember Lily off of my Turd Island for a long time because like, okay, Ember crying all the time, like, oh, it's funny a few times, but it's not like
you got to build
sustainable.
You got to build in your grace periods, basically.
Right?
Yeah, I get what
You got to move it along. You got to switch the content, and it's easy to find fucking people on Twitter. Everyone wants their fucking voice heard. Everyone thinks they have the right opinion. Everyone thinks they're the smartest fucking person in the room. All you have to do is go on Twitter, watch someone who disagrees with a comment you say, or self-insert yourself in someone else's comment thread. See if they have a YouTube channel. If they do, invite them on your fucking show. Like that's how it works. You don't have to like keep it solely to commentary. You can reach out to other people. You can at people, stir the pot, at someone on Twitter, and be like, "You're a fucking loser."
So, do you want to talk about it on my show?
Exactly, though.
Yeah, I get what you say.
There is a shameless level to it.
But
for a Turd Island,
and I think by the same notion, like and this goes more back to like because this is purely anecdotal, my personal experiences, right? Like, if you have an AWT, like I think everybody that called in to Turd Island post Flatley takeover has had like an issue with being mostly not necessarily always verbally, but very much being dogpiled, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And you always, and in comparison, like to my personal experiences with calling in to your, like I did with my.
Well, you called in when there's all that drama around you and Abby.
But I called in because I knew that you'd at least make sure that it wouldn't get too bad. Like I get that you wouldn't want to like cut the content in its entirety, but I at least knew that like if not one, then at most I'd be having like an argument or a discussion with like 2 or 3 people at most at one time.
Well, and that's fair. And like, see, that's some of the criticism some people don't like with me is that they're like, oh, well, you're cucking content because I've got that all the time. We're like, oh, I'll let them kill each other. But like, if you don't create an environment where you think people are going to be able to call in, they won't call in.
Exactly.
And that's the problem with it. You have to walk. That's where I was saying, like, you need to be a police officer, just not transparent. Like, you need to be hidden about it. Which goes back to why I think, like, only Flatley and a trusted mod should have privileges in the stages. You know what I mean? Like, it like I said, with the Doug stuff, like, that deterred me from it. I was like, this is brutal. That guy can't even form a proper argument with it. But that was the drama people want to go to. And I'm not like, I don't think Doug like should have walked away scot-free because he can't form an argument. But I'm like, okay, there's only so much that should go on.
Exactly. And like, because you bring up Doug, obviously, like that's one of the other things that when it comes to that whole, because I'm just going to call it a sense of not even safety, but at least a security to some extent, that you'll make sure that people won't end up like like you'll actively tell people to not to condemn like that you condemn people verbally doing things that are out of bounds. One of the things that occurred that popped to my mind just now when you mentioned that, specifically in context with Doug, like Flatley did a whole thing at some point during a live stream where he was having a debate with, I want to say, was it Dan? Yeah, I think it was Dan, and Dan ended up leaving the Third Island, and Flatley just straight up left everybody who was in the Third Island stage and chased him to another Discord server to then confront Dan in another Discord server with like people who didn't even know they were on the live stream.
Yeah.
It's like those kind of to me on a, I don't know, and I can't even very specifically point to what it is, but that crosses a line to me. And
No, I don't like the I've been pretty, even people who know me. I think if you stream and don't tell people, it's fucking gay.
yeah,
I've always held that opinion. Or like I even think recording calls is fucking stupid. But I get it. That's where content comes from. That's how people, that's how you get exposed videos and shit like that. It's part of the game. It's just something I don't enjoy doing.
but I think that's what it's. If there's any critique that I want to levy towards the person himself, in regards to just his show and the person himself, the way he conducts some specific things, and I'll tell him this straight to his face as well. Like he chooses things that I would never choose myself,
Yeah.
because it's about more. It comes to moral standards, I guess. And I'm not saying that to poo-poo on him, but more to say like I would not do that. So, and him seeing him do it, doesn't like inspire confidence for me in order to think I like if he did Third Island, I wouldn't have called in.
I think
When it comes to my own drama,
if someone ran away
yeah,
from a Turd Island after you were confronting them, that's enough content to make fun of them on that Turd Island. Like that's enough content. And like, with that said, like I've had criticisms. Like people got pissy when I did the whole Milltown Turd Island thing, where they're like, "Oh, let everyone call in." I'm like, there's a reason why Milltown still calls into my stuff, though. You know what I mean? There's a reason why like I was able to get like other people like Plague Moth and TCR, and well, that guy's a fucking loser, but to call in though, you know what I mean? And like you're not gonna make everybody happy. Like one of Flatley's first Turd Island was about the fucking Discord drama with like me, Kaylee, Leia, something. That was like all started. And like he asked me, he's like, "Oh, are you good if I do this?" I'm like, "Absolutely fine. It's a Turd Island. Like make the content out of it." Like he needs to make content out of stuff without having to like, rely on people.
yeah, I get what you're saying.
I like he needs like well, I could have worded that better. You need people, the personalities to make the content, but you always need to have the topic beforehand.
Yeah,
And then you rely on the personalities to then basically make the fire bigger. And once the fire is big enough, you just take a step back. If you as the host are doing the most talking onto Turd Island, you're doing it wrong.
you're working too hard.
Yeah.
I get like the bare minimum. You just want to be like with bowling. You can like pop up those little fences at the exterior so it doesn't hit the gutter. Basically, you want to be the fences, but you don't want to be the whole fucking lane. And so
You're a ref. You're a ref. The easiest way to say is you're a referee. Like you that's saying like you can be the content. Like if you're the drama or you have the beef, then you're the content. But like with other people, like you want other people to fight with each other. You want other people. You need to shit stir. And sometimes you have to like go find the shit stirring though. It's not always going to be present. You have to shit stir yourself. You have to go find the topics. You have to find the thing. And if you can't find commentary related thing, then you just create the drama yourself, or you create the like the feminism thing. That was all self-created from me, and it became one of my best episodes. Like. And I don't give a shit if there's negative criticism or positive criticism. The point is that was a great.
People talk about it. People then tune in next week to see it live.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see. And by the same notion, like it's not necessarily that I think that Flatley has no idea what he wants to do. I think he just needs more outlines for himself to work in. But
I think it's good he's taken kind of a break with it, to get like his thoughts together about it. Because I know he said like he's only going to do it when there's stuff going on in the community, but like you don't rely on the community to do it. You need to create it sometimes yourself.
Yeah.
And that's not saying like I know like I'm ragging on Flatley and like a lot, but like I had my bad Turd Islands. You know what I mean? I had my like Turd Islands where they're like, it's kind of boring. You just end the stream. That's it. Like if it's not going anywhere, just end it.
But by the same notion, I think you're correct in picking him out because like I couldn't do that kind of show. That's not.
No, I think he's still the best. Like I think he's still the best candidate for it. I really do.
He just needs a little bit guidance, you know.
Well, and like he could, and Flatley stays relatively level-headed too with it.
Yeah.
And like, I think like just he needs to self-insert himself less. He needs to find like a steady topic for an episode, and he needs to shit stir a little bit more and stop relying on the same group of people all the time.
Yeah. I agree.
I had like fucking stirred the pot with Matt Pininzili on my Turd Island before. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there you can like shit talk. You just have to stop worrying about everyone's fucking like how people are gonna feel afterwards. And sometimes it's a pain in the ass. I will say that it's a huge pain in the ass. After every Turd Island I did, there's always someone hitting me up in DMs bitching about it, or there's always people fucking crying about it or complaining about it. That's the show. That is just the nature of it. It's gonna sound bad, but someone should always leave Turd Island kind of pissed. I'm not talking about like IRL fucking upset. I'm talking about like someone should always be like, this is fucking stupid, or you're a fucking loser, or you're a fucking gay. If someone's not calling you that at the end of it, you're not doing it right. You know, like someone should always be angry at you.
Just disgruntled. That's disgruntled. Yeah. And
I think that's the. Yeah, and I still think he can do a fabulous job. I don't really have any like hate towards like how he's doing it or anything because it is his show. It is his like flow of how he wants to do it. I honestly wish I could come on more. I really do. I wish I had more like availability for it because I love it. I still love Turd Island. If I could do it still, I would still do it. Yeah. Especially after doing like having a break for almost like what? It's almost been a year now. No. I know. It feels like it, but or no, absolutely not. I think I gave it to him in the spring, but it feels like I've been gone for a week. No, it's an awesome show, and like, especially now that you need to find a new group of Spurgs is kind of also the problem because I find a lot of the old Spurgs have either disappeared or just left drama. Yeah. You need to explore it. You need to find, and he has a following. He has a bit larger channel, and he has that pull. People know him now in the community, and like if people view him as being infamous, then play into that infamy. If people think you're like the good guy, play into the good guy role. You have to use the roles assigned to you appropriately.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I personally think Flatley's a shit disturber. I fucking that guy shit disturbs more than like anyone else. I just think he needs to do it for his own show.
Yeah.
And like when he does, it'll benefit him. It will.
Either do it for his own show or make sure that you as the person or Flatley himself turns into the content that you can then bring onto the show. So
yeah, if you don't have like a fucking MVP for that episode, then you gotta make the content. You put yourself on the fucking front line. You know?
And that's the thing, right? Because I don't think he necessarily has any objections to making himself into the content.
No, I don't think he does.
I just don't necessarily think he always finds the right angle for it, I guess is how I would put it. Like there's because there has been moments, and to his credit, where he's tried and setting up stuff, and people tell him the whole week that they're coming, and then they end up not showing up. And
make that the content. Make that the content of the episode. Shit talk them. Invite people to come on and shit talk the person who bailed. And if that person doesn't want to come on because they got shit talked, then continue to shit talk them. You know what I mean? Tag them on Twitter, all that, you know? Like that is how you make content. Invite anyone on the panel to give their opinions of this person. And then move on. Well, you know, like, and it doesn't, Turd Island doesn't have to be a 3-hour show. It doesn't have to be a 2-hour show. If you have a 40-minute show of a bunch of people shit talking someone, then that's your show. Like, you know?
And to your point, right? Like, don't drag it on for longer than it's necessary. And I agree with you. Like, the whole you shouldn't play a video game because very specifically, he can't play a video game and talk the host at the talk as.
Oh, it's hard. I can't do it. It's hard.
I'm not, and I wasn't saying it to knock him, but basically, just pointing it out. Like, it's because he did like Chain Together or something, that game with like where you have multiple.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
And it was kind of because I was still kind of somewhat looking forward. I always looked forward to like the Sunday night Turd Islands, even if I ended up falling asleep before actually seeing it live. I always watched it the morning after, and now I can't watch it the morning after because it gets like members only, and it's a fucking miracle that I get gifted membership so much for his channel. But like for anybody, like how are you supposed to attract new people when the people that miss the moment can't re-see what other people are referring to, right? Like,
No, I get that. I mean, maybe he's doing it for a monetary thing. Maybe he's doing it for whatever. I don't know why he's doing that. That's on like him, but that's like not a critique I have. But you're a viewer of it, you know.
Yeah.
So, I think it's good to. Well, I'm like, you know, you'll watch it. You should react to this fucking video on the Turd Island. That's content for you. You should view this video, and he should shit talk everything he disagrees with, and he should shit talk everything you disagree with, and then make content out of it. And then he should be like, Badwick Asmo should call in a Turd Island, tell me how they feel. But that's what you should do. That's how Turd Island works.
That's like, and that's the reason, right?
Now you're not going to post the video.
No, I am. Regardless, like, if at worst, like, people make fun of it or anything, but I don't think I have like the controversial opinion on this one, to be honest. If anything,
you know, here's the top. Maybe he should set up a Turd Island where he should allow people to call in and give their criticisms of Turd Island. There's an idea. That's That's a week of content, you know.
Yeah.
And then you know if you open it up to a panel, let a bunch of people call in and give their critiques of Turd Island, and then he snaps back at them or be like, no, you're a fucking loser, you have no idea what you're talking about, or you're gay, or your content sucks. People are going to talk about it because it's going to cause fucking drama.
And don't do it with like everybody or at least half of the people of AWT on there, because people are not going to come in and criticize your show with like half your posse pulling up behind you, right? In that context. Let's be honest, but yeah. Anyway, I feel we're circling a little bit like around the same.
Yeah.
But I think
that's me.
No, it's me. It's me as well, because like I do the same. I do the same when I'm given enough room. I'm just giving you room to in this case. So I'm thinking, because I've been side eyeing my questions, but we naturally flowed into most of them.
Yeah, I figured we would have. I figured we would.
Me too. It's just like it's fun to see that like the expectations that I had towards this conversation and the ease with which it would go is actually how it ended up. So that's a good thing. Yeah, no,
well, I'm glad it worked out naturally for you.
No, but like those deadpan kind of question answer kind of things are.
Yeah.
They're not fun to watch. Let's be honest. Like no,
depends on who you have.
Oh, that's fair. I guess. Maybe I'm too strong in my statement, but those are not the interviews that stick with you, I guess.
No, that's true. I just I don't want people to watch this and be like, make it like a flatly Turd Island like sucks sort of thing.
No.
I think Flatley does a good job on Turd Island. I still think he is the best person to do it. I think like I'm happy with my decision of like Flatley doing it. I really am. I just I hope like he can get out of the rut he's in, because I know it happens to everyone in content. And then just, you know what I mean? Like just sit down and like structure. And he doesn't have to take anything we say to heart or anything like that. He just I think just a little bit more structure for that show
Would make
with him would go a long way. Would go a long.
I don't know, but I have a hard time to believe that that guy has like a docket for a show, like with every
Yeah.
topic, and but like I said, I don't know that for a fact.
But you can make one topic last an hour. Like we've been talking about it for an hour.
Yeah.
You don't need to have like 20 fucking topics. You can have one topic and make that the show. If that's the show, that's the show, you know?
Have a topic dependent on the call in, and have a backup in case that call in falls through and you can't like really stretch it out in terms of that. But like you said, I think a little bit of structure goes a long way with him. I think he has like you said, I think you're not wrong in picking him for his potential, but he still has room to grow. I'm gonna stick with that final assessment in that regard. And if anything, like you said, I hope he takes this, he responds to it on the Turd Island, on a live stream, goes into it like wholeheartedly agrees or disagrees with whatever you or I said in that regard. Like I'm not gonna fall over any kind of feedback, because like I'm giving him feedback. So you if you dish it, you got to take it, right? So,
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I said, like if he was smart, he should make this a fucking episode. He really should. He should make this, or like I find watch parties fucking lame, but he should watch it and then like talk about it, you know, and invite people on the fucking show. Because one, it benefits you because he's showing viewers your fucking channel. Two, like it's an easy topic. Like that's the whole thing about Turd Island, is it doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need to overcomplicate it. And that's really it. Like, I don't give a shit if Flatley talks like shit talks me. Like, go for it. He's done it so many times. Like in the past. Like, he should do that.
yeah, and if anything, I hope he sees it like a little bit of there's a Dutch saying for this, so I'm trying to translate it towards the. I hope he experiences it as a little push in the back instead of like any kind of hard criticism. Because I think we both agree he's the best man for the job in the community, knowing the people that we know. He just needs to find his way, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and like I don't know if it's like because it is like to like I guess like I didn't bring it up, but like it obviously is hard to just get handed like an IP. You know what I mean? And be like, run with it. Like I didn't really give him any fucking like guidance to it. I was like, here's what I do. This is what I do. It's yours now. That's literally like what I've done to him. And like it is a lot, you know? And you know, like you said, hopefully he can take some stuff and some criticisms and, you know, evolve it, work it out. I think like him taking a break from it to reconstruct it is fine. Like he should, when he decides to bring it back, make a big thing about it. Be like, it's coming back. Like,
Build it
you
up
know?
for like half a week or like a full
Yeah. Oh, you have to. When I was doing it, I started to promote it on like the Monday for the Sunday, you know, when I was fucking promoting it. So,
Yeah,
but like, this is the easy episode. Invite people to come on and be like, if you have criticisms against me, because so many people of you are shit talking me, then you better fucking call in, you know, like. And then, like, if they don't call in, then you can shit talk them. That's the top. That's the content. And he's not afraid to shit talk people, so I think he should do it.
yeah, and like I think he'll end up responding to this. I hope he. I hope I just and maybe that's it too, right? Like I can sense to a certain extent, because it's not going the way he wants it to go. I can feel him like losing a little bit of passion with every show that doesn't turn out.
I hope not. I hope not, because he's still, in my opinion, the best person for it.
Not as in long-term passion, but just losing kind of like the energy, because he's not like having the results that he's aiming for, I guess, for the amount.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's a shame, because like it was one of those shows that I looked forward to every fucking week, and even when Flatley started doing it, I still looked forward to it, um, to some extent every week. It had its own flair, but I was still curious about like what kind of twist it
Mhm.
was going to give it, because like you did things in a way that I very specifically like, but maybe Flatley finds a way that makes it even better. If you know what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
like every person has a preferential late night host era, I guess. It's way more common in American culture, I guess. But like, um, so I think like there's always going to be people who prefer your style over his.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, I think like Burn the World like prefers like Flatley's over mine, to be honest.
exactly the other way around just as much. It just needs to. It's almost like doubled down in to some extent in certain areas, and by the same notion, a more delicate approach in some very specific situations. But like those, I'll highlight those um, very specifically with an example in the cocktail itself. So that's something that's going to be more like over into the cocktail one. Um, I'm thinking anything. No, no, no.
Sorry, Kaylee's fucking around in the background.
No, you're good. You're good.
I
You're
was
good.
like, look, she just showed up.
You're good. You're good. No, don't worry. Um, I was just thinking, like, is there anything? Is
Yeah.
there anything you
No, it's
wanted to
not a
add,
live
Mark?
stream. Sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah,
That's
no,
my
you're good.
fault as being a
No.
host or a guest on your show.
No worries, no worries. You're good. I was thinking, is there anything you want to say in closing? Maybe very
No,
stereotypically
I
towards the camera and flatly, like.
I think I said like everything, and I don't think anything I said is like arguably going to be surprising for him.
No.
I just hope he doesn't fucking ran away. I don't think I hope he doesn't lose like the spirit to do because he's good at shit stirring. He really is.
Yeah.
Um, and
Totally
like
so.
there are bad episodes. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Right. I think he just needs to. What? No, I just sorry.
No, you're
I
good.
think
You're good.
no. Well, he needs to step back from it. He needs to shit stir more and like be more comfortable shit stirring in his like friend. Like if he's gonna have his friend group on there, he should be more comfortable with shit stirring with it.
Mhm.
If it's like if it's warranted, then it's warranted. You know what I mean? I think everyone like used Ember as a shit stirring aspect because it was easy.
Yeah. I can
You
see
know, it wasn't not because she was friends with people, but it wasn't like it was easy to do. It was easy to rile her up, and it worked for content because generally she didn't have the best perception in the community. I just generally think he needs to step back more, shit stir more, and arguably switch up the cast.
Yeah.
That like if I had to break it down into three basic things, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really do. And I guess like step back, but like also moderate more as well.
And that's the thing, right? Like, because most of the arguments or the feedback you just gave has like things that flow forth from it when you imply them. So taking a step back, but shit stirring at the same time, has like um, a more formulaic feeling to it, so people know what to expect out of you as a host, and thus they
Yeah,
feel more secure in calling in, knowing what they can expect and what they should not have to expect, I guess. But yeah,
you should ask for like and like there's no shame asking for help either.
no, obviously
And like
not.
if he needs it, like if he needs help or stuff, reach out to people. Like I for a long time I had Matt Pitt help me with mine as well, and that like because that worked out. That's why I eventually moved to the stage format for Turd Island versus the VC thing because the stage there's too many people at one point. So then we did the stage, and that I liked the stage stuff personally, but you know there's always room to improve. There's always room to get critiques, and he can take what he wants from the critiques and apply to the show, and he can say fuck the other ones. You know what I mean? That's why he is the personality of the show, and that's his own twist of the show.
Um,
I just think being aware of what people are critical of is a good thing.
I'm making the reason I'm making it as a cocktail because that way it's content and that way he knows how to respond to it. Because I don't think if I would put like these same kinds of feedback into a direct DM to him, that
Yeah.
he takes them to the same extent too hard or anything, and he might end up still not doing it. But
What are you gonna do if you shit talks your cocktail?
oh, I don't care. No, I don't care. Look, I know what I'm doing when it comes to
Or
cocktail
he could, or he could
things.
accuse you of not actually drinking on stream. He'll be like, "That's
Oh,
actually
bro,
just water."
bro,
Asmo's been lying the whole time. He's
I,
not actually drinking. It's just
I,
fucking water.
I had a cocktail that and a subject that goes along with it that I had to shelf due to the timing I wanted to release it. And looking back on that specific one, I had to do reshoots of part of that because I lose coherency like halfway.
I don't know why. I don't know how you can do it. I tried to like do an IRL fucking thing where I was smoking fucking pot,
Yeah,
and like I just like fucking sat there
like
like for fucking like hours. Like I can't like even like at least like if I get drunk during the stream, I already have the fucking flow of it. I can't just come in wasted.
But, like for me, it's like, but that's the thing, right? Like I'm recording, and as I'm getting further into the script, I'm drinking. I'm further down the
Yeah.
cocktail basically, so I'm already in the flow of it. But I'm such a lightweight when it comes to alcohol.
Wow, you're European. The fucking alcohol's cleaner than the water where you live.
That's fair. I had like the last cocktail involved ouzo, which is a very Greek thing. For this one,
Okay.
for this one, I'm going to just make a Moscow Mule, so a very standard, basic one, like old school, as I wanted to do more of an old school commentary thing. But the other one,
Come on, it's a Turd Island episode. You gotta do like some like dirty ass like fucking mudslide thing.
I'm like I'll try and make it more tropical. I'll give you that much. But like there's basically for the other one I had like ouzo in there, which is a Greek
Yeah.
national liquor, and that shit kicks my ass harder than tequila does. I'll be honest with you. That was like I was like, did I record everything? And then I ended up like double recording stuff because
At least you edit your shit.
yeah, but that's part of the reason why I don't do live streams. Like I just yeah, I'm just gonna make a total ass out of myself if I just do live streams, which is like maybe I'll do it in the future when I feel more comfortable because that's part of it as well. Like we're talking, and because we're talking and it's flowing fairly like naturally, I don't have an issue with it. But as soon as as soon as I'm just sitting there on my own doing a stream, I think I'd be way too self conscious about what
Oh come
we're
on.
but like
Who? Why are you self-conscious?
because because I'm making ass out of myself. Like you guys have no idea.
Come on, that's why you're on the internet.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Anyway, um, no, but I'm gonna do the other cocktails like shelved for after this one. I felt like this one was topical and actually about our little community. The other one is like a somewhat bigger topic. Um, so I thought this was a good one to get back into the rhythm and the flow of things. And the fact that you wanted to come on and have this conversation with me to the extent that because we've been going for an hour and 16 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's easy to talk.
Yeah. Um, so that was it's just gonna get me into the role of things. I guess that's what I'm saying. So you gave your feedback, and I don't think like anything I'm gonna mention. I'm just gonna put into the cocktail, so I don't have to end it on the note here. But on the whole, I just fully agree with you. I just there's things that I didn't mention that are like that could be. Hang on. They would be funny, but again, because it's like the day after and people didn't see it live, there's nobody talking about it. But there's a stream of them out there with everybody with 8 guys in there without a shirt on and people taking off their shirts at random intervals during and like at some point Leia something comes in, and like she's the only woman fully in a conversation with like 8 guys who all have their webcam on with no shirts on, and I think she was taking some kind of medication that was making her sound drowsy. So that whole like it's funny. Those moments are funny. They're absolutely
Yeah, that shit's like the same vein as like when I did the hot tub.
yeah.
Like I agree. Like it's and like that's what I said. He has the personality to do it. Like you can do like 3 fucking drama scream streams in a row, and then do a fucking goofy stream. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you'll still get your audience that enjoy it.
Yep. I trust in him. I hope this cocktail might help him.
He'll be good.
I hope this cocktail and this interview is going to help him.
Or if anything, you can make content out of this, Asmo.
Exactly.
You gave him 3 episodes.
But that's the thing, right? Like that's my logic for making me think. Okay, I'm just going to make this cocktail. Who cares? I'm just going to see where it lands, and I might be stirring up some shit. But by the same notion,
That's the point. That's the point. You're helping him, Asmo. You're helping him.
Exactly. That's how I sold it to myself eventually. Like that, because I don't want to feel like I don't act like you said. I don't want to actively go out of my way to just shit on somebody because they're an asshole. Like if there's no use for that. Like everybody, if everybody knows that you're an asshole, then what use is it for me to publicly make a video about it and shitting on you because you're an asshole? But
I don't think we really shit on him that bad, to be honest. I really don't.
I don't think. I think if anything, people might criticize us for being so kid gloves here and there. But yeah,
What? Oh no! You know what? That's actually one of Flatley's critiques on me. Is that he doesn't think I go in hard enough. He told me, he actually like messaged me that before. He's like, I think you should go in harder on people and give your real takes. No, but like this, I don't think this is like a kid glove thing. I honestly I like Flatley. I like
me too.
the show he does, and I think he has the opportunity to really just make it so much better
Yeah,
than what it is.
yeah. I think so too. Yeah, he like you said. I hope he takes his space. He takes his time to sort his mind, make a big deal out of his comeback, and I'll be here watching. At least the comeback. We're gonna make it. We're gonna believe, and he'll make it eventually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway.
Well, Asmo. I gotta say thank you for asking me to do this, though.
No, thank you. I should thank you. I mean, come on. I mean, you know how much of an admirer I've been about your content grind, your mindset in general. So it's been good, like because we've been in public feces with each other before, but never
Yeah.
on one like this. So this was a good chat, good conversation, good talk. So I enjoyed
Yeah, no,
it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also, go subscribe to Asmo. Go subscribe to Flatley.
And goes like the odds are that if you're subscribed to me and you're seeing this, that you're probably already subscribed to him. But please go subscribe to Badwick. He does a lot of kind of creative, different kind of content. And if one of them doesn't strike you, then there's probably something else in his whole repertoire that'll fancy your taste. Anyway, thank you again. I'm gonna